With your iPad, you can create action paintings with your photos. I'm going to show you how on this next episode. Hi everyone, Tim Brown, my Apple Podcast. For this episode, I'm going to feature Foolproof by Studio Me, made for the iPad and iPhone. With this application, you can create action paintings with your photos. Okay, let me open Foolproof Art Studio. And what you're looking at here is a blank canvas. This is what you begin with before you create your action painting. I'm going to first go ahead and show you the first tab on the bottom left. Here you can see you can save your session. So any photo that you work on to create an action painting with can be saved as a session for later. You can import photos from your library. You can take a picture with your camera, import photos from Facebook, Dropbox, and or import a photo from your clipboard. And if you have photos on your desktop, you can import them from iTunes. I'm just going to go ahead and import a photo from my library. Okay, I like this. I'm going to go ahead and choose this photo here and bring this into my project. And you'll see the smooth animations that you get with this application throughout while you're using it. And you can change canvases, by the way. I'm going to go ahead actually and choose my easel options. And as you go through the easel options, you'll see that you have different backgrounds that you can add to begin your action painting project. Now it looks like this is all I have. Now you know I already imported my photo. My photo is actually underneath the texture background. And you remove this background by creating an action painting with your finger. So I'm going to click on the palette menu. And you can see here you have a lot of options to choose from. You can choose to have no effect, one with saturation, grayscale, dark, bright, contrast, hot, cool, sepia, pink, spring, and autumn. So I'm just going to go ahead and just choose hot. Now you'll notice on the right hand side on the bottom where it says auto test, you can choose to have this on or off. When you have it off, you will not see what the actual painting will look like. If you leave it on, every time you select one, it'll show you actually how it will materialize once you begin moving your finger across the surface. So now that I have a glimpse as to what this is going to look like. Oh, before I do this though, you can also check the size of your brush. So if you want to make the brush large or small, you can do that by just adjusting the brush size. Okay, let's begin. I'm going to go ahead and just begin my action painting by just randomly running my finger across the surface. And I'm just going to do a lot of wavy patterns, a lot of zigzags and swirls. And as you can see, you don't really see any of the image coming through yet because I'm going very quickly. The way this application works is if you want to start to bring out some of the details of the photo, you have to slow your gestures down. Once you go in slow motion, and all of a sudden some of the details start to come through in the photo. And if you want to go fast again, then it'll start to blur the picture once again. If you want to go slow, then all of a sudden the details start to appear. Can you see how that works? And I kind of like that, so I'm going to stop right there. There's also a really cool little feature called Magnifying Glass where you can actually zoom in twice to see other areas of the photo that are still hidden that you may want to reveal. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on the Magnifying Glass, and here I can move this around the photo to see all the other areas that I can pull out if I want to. Like for example, that little cigarette. That lets me know that that's one area that I can actually pull through. So now I'm going to go ahead and just slowly drag my finger across there to bring out that cigarette. So you get the idea. I'm going to click on the settings tab so you can see what some of your options are here. I can actually go ahead and just hit replay and just play back my actions. So you can see how the project appeared as you were creating it, which is a really nice feature to have. And I'm going to show you why this is important to begin with. I think that Foolproof is much more about the process, or just as much about the process as it is about the finished result. You get more joy out of watching it, or just as much joy out of watching it as you would when you see the finished result. At least that's what I like about it. So this is pretty cool. You have to admit, this is a very nice application. So that gives you your preview. You can also select auto paint. So if you didn't want to do it yourself, you could just let Foolproof actually create the painting for you. That's okay, not as much fun, but at least it's a nice option to have. Okay, let's say I'm done and I'm ready to save my project. I can save it as a session, which I'm going to do because I would like to revisit this later. You can save it as a picture to your camera roll, which I'm going to do. You can also save your project as a movie file. So let's go ahead and click the Save Movie option. As you can see here, I can save it as the normal speed, or I can save it as twice the normal speed, 4 times the normal speed, and or 8 times. So I'm going to go ahead and actually choose 8 times, and then create movie. And you can see down below a preview of what your movie is going to look like when you're done. So instead of a JPEG being saved to your library, it's actually going to save a .movie file to your library, and you can post this video to your favorite social networking site. So this is a really nice option to have. And this is Foolproof by Studio Me. It's $3.99 in the App Store. Hope you enjoyed this episode. This is Tim Brown, my Apple Podcast. Check me out next time.